in AQA Functional Skills Level 1, Paper 2, that's the calculator one, for January 2021. And like always, please use a black pen. Let's get started. Section A are the short questions, so let's give them a go. It says circle the number that is 6 more than -7. So the calculation we're actually doing is we're starting with -7 and we're adding 6 more to it. If you're happy doing that in your head, that's fine, but you have a calculator, so just put it into your calculator. We're starting with -7 and we're adding another 6 on that, which means we are left with an answer of -1. And so we can circle it. There we are. Okay. You could also use a number line, but don't waste time at this point. Okay. Now, circle the fraction that is halfway between 1/2 and 3/4. There are several ways of doing this. If it were in a non-calculator paper, I would make the denominators the same. The alternative is to use decimals. So I'm going to make the denominators the same, but then I'll show you how to do it with the decimals. So here, if I multiply the whole fraction, the top and the bottom, by 4, and the reason is all of the denominators here are 8, so that's what I'm going to do. So if I multiply all of this by 4, I'm going to change that and it becomes 4/8. And if I do the same here, to change that 4 into an 8, I need to double it. So if I double that 4, I get an 8. And if I double the 3, I get a 6. We want the number that's halfway between that. So halfway between 4/8 and 6/8 will be 5/8. If you're not happy with that, as I said, put these into your calculator, find the decimals, and you'll also find that this is the valid answer. Let's move to question number 3. Now, question number 3 is a calculator paper, so I would just use the calculator. So it says 16 squared, take away 11 squared. Now, if you have a scientific calculator, it will use the order operation automatically, so we're fine. If you don't have a scientific calculator, you'd have to do the squares first and then subtract your answers. If we do that, we get an answer of 135. Okay, let's move on. Question number 4. Now, question number 4 is just a case of being very patient because I have a tally chart, so we want to do a tally, and we just look at the values between 1 and 5, 6 and 10, 11 and 15, 16 and 20, etc. So here we have 17, so 17 would be there. 11 would be here. 9 would be there. 4 would be there. 10, 7, 22 would go here. 20 would go on that one. 2 would be there. 15 would be here. 7, 3, 8, 14, 8 again, and 12. So looking at that, here we have 3. Frequency just means how many. Here we have 6. And this one we have 4. We have 2. And we have 1. Okay, good. Question number 5. Question number 5 is a volume question. We have a cuboid. They've given us the 3 dimensions. And to work out the volume, we need to multiply the 3 dimensions. Now, the reason I'm writing it out as opposed to just working it out straight away is I'm going to use the calculator to do this, but I want to show the examiners that I actually know how to calculate it. So now I can get the calculator, make sure it's blank, and we're going to put in there, just move that up, 12.5 times 8.2 times 5.6, and gives me an answer of 574. We can write down 574. Brilliant. By showing that, if I've made a mistake in typing into the calculator, I can still get a mark or 2. Let's continue. Question number 6. Question number 6 is saying which of these is larger, and this is just basically knowing how to do a percentage calculation. So the first one is 35 out of 100 multiplied by 200. Okay, and the second one is going to be 25 out of 100 multiplied by 300. Let's put them into the calculator. So 35 out of 100 times by 200 gives an answer of 70. And for the other side, we had 25 out of 100 times by 300. And that one gave me 75. Now it's very clear that the second one is much higher because it's much 75 is greater than 70. So here it says must show the workings. We've shown the workings, and so we can now say 25% of 300 is larger. Good. Next bit. Oh, looks like we're going to be doing some drawings. It says draw a rectangle, so testing that we know what a rectangle is, length of 8 centimeters and a width of 4.5 centimeters, and they tell us that one side has already been drawn for us. So for this you'll definitely need a ruler. Let's just check that it is actually 8 centimeters. It is 8 centimeters, good. So we now need to do a 4.5 for both of the sides. Now for this you need to try and make sure, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm trying to get to that line there, to the 4.5, make sure it lines up nicely. Okay, and you need kind of a nice right angle if possible. That's still not lined up. There we are. That's going. Okay. So we're going to go up to 4.5. Okay. And now we want 8. I'm using on the bottom of the ruler to kind of keep it as parallel as I can. Once again, line it up. For that, I'm going to go 8 along, and hopefully we'll come out to 4.5 on this side. And it's not quite because the ruler's moved a little bit, but it's close enough. Let's just mark them. So this one here is 4.5 centimeters, and this one here is 8 centimeters. I'm just going to put in these here to show that they're meant to be right angles. They haven't asked for anything else, so we're there. Page number 5. Now we're on to section B, and section B, you'll remember, are the bigger mark questions, 5 marks, and they're kind of related, so the sections A, B and C and so forth. So let's see, work. Carl and Aisha work in a nursing home. Carl works part-time. He is paid £8.72 per hour, Monday to Saturday. He is paid double for each hour worked on a Sunday. 1 week he works these hours, and here they tell us the hours he worked, and they're asking us to work out how much Carl is paid for this work. So before we can do that, we'll probably have to find out how many hours in total he's working. So let's see here, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So 6, 7, 8. So this one here is 2 hours and a half. And this one here, 1 p.m. to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is 4 hours. Hours. And this one is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So 11, 12, 1, 2. So this one is 3 hours. Okay, so we know now the amount of hours he works. We know how much he earns per hour Monday to Saturday. And we know that on Sunday he gets double the amount. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these together to find out the Monday to Saturday. Monday to Saturday, in this case just Friday to Saturday. So we have 4 plus 2 will be 6. So this is 6.5 hours. Okay, so I'm going to do 6.5 times the pay per hour, which is £8.72. Get your calculator, enter it. So we have 6.5 times 8.72, and that comes out to £56.68. £56.68p. Now we need to work out the one for Sunday, and for Sunday we know he has 3 hours working. He's paid £8.72, but the key word here is double, so he gets double that. So I'm just going to do it all in one go. If you wanted to, you could just double that first to get the salary, and then times it by 3 for the number of hours he worked, but I'm doing it all in one go. Let's get the calculator again. 3 times 8.72 times 2, we end up with £52.32. So the total, because you want to find out all together, is adding these two together. So let's do that. So we're going to say 56.68 plus 52.32. Now I still have the 52.32 on my calculator, so I'm just going to add the 56.68 onto it, and it comes out to £109. Okay, so here we are, £109. You can either leave it like that, or if you prefer, show that there are no pennies. It's up to you. Okay, brilliant. That's 5 marks. Let's go to part B. And part B is talking about Aisha. She works full-time. She's paid a gross salary of that much per year. There's a formula, and she uses this formula to work out the amount of tax she pays each year. Then she pays the tax in 12 equal monthly amounts, and they're asking us to find out how much she pays each month. So be careful. We're working with year, year, and then at the end we're going to have to change it into months. Okay. Let's look at the formula. It says yearly tax is bracket gross salary minus 12,500 close brackets times 0.2. Now order of operation means we do the brackets first, and the gross salary is up here. They've told us. There we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the brackets, which is 21,755, take away 12,500. For speed, let's use the calculator. So we have 21,755 minus 12500, and we get 9,255, 9,255. Okay. Now that amount is times 0.2, 9,255 times 0.2. Once again, I've kept that on my calculator, so I can just say 0.2, and it comes out to 1,851. So what do we have now? That amount, but that is per year, and we want to find it in a month, how much they shall pay in a month. So we're going to split that into 12 monthly payments. When you do that, divide that amount by 12, and we end up with £154 with 25 pence. So we're going to end up with £154 and 25 pence. Makes sense. 3 marks for 3 steps to get there. Sorry, my 2 isn't very good, but I think it's legible. Okay. Now we've done part A, B. Is there a part C? Yes, there is. 4-mark question. They're telling us that Aisha is offered a pay rise. She has a choice. She can either have a 5% increase in her gross salary per year, or she could have an extra amount, £85, every month. So she has to choose which one. Now, my decision, if I were her, would be the one that would bring more, because most people would like more. So that we're going to look for which of these options gives more. So let's work out what it was. So 5% is 5 out of 100 gross salary. So this is where you have to go back to find out what Aisha had, and Aisha's gross salary was 21,755. So let's write that in, 21,755. Okay, let's get the calculator. 5 out of 100 multiplied by 21755, and we end up with 1,087.75. Let's do the next calculation. So we've done that calculation there. Let's now look at the second one. The second one was £85 every month. So there are 12 months in a year. So we're going to multiply it by 12. So 85 times 12 gives us 1,020. So we've done that calculation there. Now it's a matter of comparing it and seeing which one. Now, as I said, I'd go for the one with more, because we basically, most people want more money. So in this case, you can see that 1,087 is more than 1,200. So which one would she choose? I would choose, or I would recommend that she chooses, the 5% increase. Okay, because it's more. Right, we've done sections A, B, and C from question 8. We're moving on to question 9. Now, question 9 is a completely different thing. We're now talking about Jed. He basically paints pictures and then he sells them. And when he sells them, he likes to put a frame around his paintings. The painting measures 60 centimeters by 35 centimeters, and a frame will be made out of 4 pieces of wood. Each of them is 3 centimeters wide. The frame will go around the painting as shown. So it's very important to look at the picture. They show us that the painting is the bit in white in the middle there, And we could tell that because 60 centimetres is what they specified and 35 top to bottom, that's fine. And then we have the frame, and the frame is made from 4 pieces of wood. You can see 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and then 2 on the sides. They've also told us that each wood is 3 centimetres wide, and they've shown it here, but they haven't really shown it there, so I'm just going to also put that in there to help me remember that that's also 3 centimetres wide there. Okay. Now it tells us down the bottom that Jed has 1 piece of wood, or 1 length of wood. It's 3 centimetres wide, so that's fine, that will be what we want, and it's 2 metres long. So the question is, when he cuts, or can he cut his 4 pieces of wood for the frame out of his 1 long 2 metre long piece of wood he has. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to see how much he needs and then see if the 2 metres is enough. Now we have a problem. Over here it's all in centimetres, but this one is in metres, so I'm going to change this one into centimetres by multiplying by 100. So 2 times 100 gives us 200 centimetres. So that's how long his piece of wood is. So that's what he has. Now we're going to find out what he needs. Okay. So what he needs for his picture. So what we have is along from here to there, it is 35 centimetres long, and there's one on this side and there's one on that side. So he needs 35 centimetres on the right, he needs 35 centimetres on the left. Another question is, how much does he need along the top and along the bottom? Now, if I only use 60, it will only get to here. It won't do the full width. We need to go, the full length. We need to go from start to finish, not from here to there. So I have another 3 over here. We need another 3 centimetres because that's how wide it is. And over here it's how wide it is. We need another 3. So 60 plus 3 would be 66. For the bottom, and the top will be the same, another 66. So let's add them together and see how much he needs. 35 plus 65 plus 66 plus 66 tells us he needs 202 centimetres. And he only has 200, and so the question is, can he do it? We need to show workings. Well, we've shown some workings. We can say, no, he only has 200 centimetres, but needs 202 centimetres. Okay. Now the reason I wrote that is just to kind of make it very clear my answer. But as long as your workings are clear, you don't have to write such a long sentence. 5 marks. Okay, let's go to part B. What's happening in part B? We're still with Jed and his paintings, and they tell us that he works out how much it costs for the materials. So this is the cost for making a large painting and a small painting. It also says that he pays £60 for a stall in the craft fair. So that's all the stuff that he has to pay out. He makes 8 large paintings and 15 small paintings to sell at that fair. This is what he then does. He sells the large ones for £17.50 and the small ones for £10.99 each. Jed sells all of them, and he says, I have made more than £150 profit. Is he correct? And we must show some workings. 6 marks for this question, so we need to make sure we don't miss any bits for that. Okay, so first of all, let's remind ourselves what profit is. Profit is the money that's left over from all the money that comes from income, in other words, from selling stuff. Okay, let's just put in there, that's from the sales, minus all the outgoings. And by that I mean the costs. What does he have to pay? So profit is the money that's left over after you have all the money that comes in from people paying for the paintings, taking away everything that he's had to pay for the costs up the top there. Okay, so let's work it out. So income. Income is what comes in. So let's work one out. Income will be £17.50 times, how many did he have of the large ones? 8 large ones. Plus £10.99 times 15 small ones. Okay. Now I've done it all in one go. You can work it out separately if you wanted to and then add it together, but I've done it all in one go, and I can enter into the calculator like that, as long as I put the brackets in and I'm very careful about all the bits. 15. Yep, I've got my brackets, and it comes out to £304 with 85 pence. Okay. Now we're going to find the total costs, and the total cost is everything he's had to spend. So far we know that he spends £5.25 for every large painting. And how many paintings? Oh, there's 8 of them. Plus he spends £3.50 on the small paintings, and there are 15 of them. And that's the paintings, the cost for paintings, but he also has to spend another £60 for the store. So let's put that all in one go, and we end up with brackets 5.25 times 8 close brackets plus open brackets 3.50 times 15 close brackets plus another 60. Brilliant. And that comes out to £154.50. Okay. So we now need to find out what the profit is, and so we said profit is income minus outgoings, and here we had our income, here we had our costs, so we'll find our profit, and the profit is going to be £304 with 85p minus £154, and we can do that in the calculator. 304.85 take away 154.50, and we end up with £150 with 35 pence. £150 with 35p. Let's make the dot a bit bigger. The question is, has he made more than £150 in profit? And looking at our calculation, yes, he has. Yes is our answer. Yes, it's only 35p more, but he has. Let's see what continues. So now we're on to question 10. This is all about health and fitness. Chris wants to improve his fitness. So for part A, tells us that Chris does some cycling and some running to keep fit. One morning he cycles and he runs in his ratio, time for cycling, time for running, 3:1. He cycles 24 minutes. Work out how many more minutes he cycles than runs. Okay, let's just remind ourselves. In ratios, the first thing here is cycling, and the second thing we have is running. So cycling is 3 and running is 1. But they tell us that in reality he cycles 24 minutes. So under cycling I'm going to put here 24. And we want to find out how much he does in running. So let's see what's happened here. 3 times something is 24. You can go backwards. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. So do the same on this side. 1 times 8, well, that's nice and easy. 8. So we know that he runs for 8 minutes. But the question is not how much he runs. The question is how much more time does he cycle than run. So we need to say 24 take away 8. 24 take away 8 is 16. But if you're not sure, you always use a calculator to check. Just to make sure. There you are. It's 16. And so basically, 16 more minutes he cycles than runs. Now I've written minutes in there just to be sure that that's what I'm talking about. Okay, brilliant. Let's go to part B. And part B looks like it's about a recipe. It's a recipe for a mango smoothie. This is for one person, and here are the ingredients. They tell us that he likes to drink this drink after exercise. Chris wants to make 5 servings of the smoothie. He already has 3/4 of a litre of yogurt. How much more yogurt does he need for the 5 servings? Now this is good to read the whole question before you dive in, and the reason is they're just focusing on yogurt, so I don't really need to worry about all the other ingredients. I'm just looking at the yogurt. Okay, so first of all, 5 servings. If this is for 1 serving and I want to do it for 5, I need 5 lots of this. So I'm going to focus on the yogurt, and the yogurt is 175 millilitres. I'm going to times it by 5 to have enough for 5 servings. So 175 times 5 is 875. So that's how much yogurt he needs. They tell us that he already has 3/4 of a litre of yogurt. How much more yogurt does he need? Right, so 3/4 of a litre. Remember that 1 litre is the same as 1,000 millilitres. And the reason I'm doing that is the question here is in millilitres, but they're talking about litres here. So let's change it all into millilitres. So in other words, they have 3/4 of 1,000 millilitres. That's what he already has. Okay, so let's do that. 3/4 of 1,000 comes out to 750. So this is how much he already has of yogurt. Okay. But remember, this is what he needs. So we need to find out how much more yogurt does he need. So if we subtract the two from each other, so I could just cheat by saying so minus it. 5. Okay, let's use a calculator. 875 take away 750 tells us 125. That's how much more he needs. So we're going to write down 125. Now be careful, they asked us to include our units. So units will be in millilitres. If you were working in litres, it'd be 0.125. But don't complicate things by doing that. Just keep it as it is. Okay. And as I said, make sure you do write your units because they've asked us for the units. Okie dokie. Brilliant. Let's move on. So that's part B of question 10. Here's part C. And part C is about Chris joining a gym to do his exercise. There's an advert, and the advert says, this is the fee for an annual fee. Nothing more to pay if you do that. Or it's an option, pay £2.75 every time you visit the gym. Chris plans to visit the gym 3 times each week during the year. Okay, so 3 times each week. Let's highlight that to make sure we don't forget that. He decides to pay each time. His friend says, you will save more than £70 if you pay the annual fee. Is his friend correct? So we're going to have to work out both options and see if he could save £70 or not. Okay. Assume Chris does visit the gym 3 times. Well, obviously he might be lazy and doesn't do that, so let's check, assuming he does do that. And we must show our workings. Okay. So at the moment, we're looking at how many times he goes. So he goes 3 times in a week. And remember that how many weeks there are in a year? There are 52 weeks in a year. So we're going to say he goes 3 times for 52 weeks. Okay, because it says assume he goes every week, and that will tell me how many times he goes in total. So 3 times 52 is 156 times that he goes. Each time he goes, he has to pay £2.75. So £2.75, and we end up with £429. Be what he has to pay. Okay. Now you could have done the calculation all in one go. I've done it in a couple of steps. I separated it out. You could have just done 3 times 52 times £2.75 and do it all in one go. So this is how much it is if he pays individually. This is how much it is, 350 if he pays annual fee. So let's subtract that from it. So let's do 429, take away 360 to find out how much he would save. I already had a 429 there, so let's just say minus 360, and it's 69. So in this case, he'd be saving £69 if he went for the annual fee, and a friend said save more than 70. In this case, his friend is not correct. So no, the friend is incorrect because £69 is less than £70. Okay, excellent. 5 marks for that. Actually, not too bad. The key thing is remembering that there are 52 weeks in a year. We're on to question 11. And question 11 is talking about a campsite. We have some tents, and those tents, we basically want to put a plan of where those tents are going to go, and it says here is a scale drawing of the section, and they tell us that this is 4 centimeters, that is 7 centimeters, and each centimeter is 3 meters in reality. They also tell us that each tent in the section must be given at least 8 meters squared of ground. Work out the maximum number of tents that would fit into the section, show your workings. Well, obviously this is going to be an area type question, but before I work out the area of the section of tents, I'm going to change them into real, what they actually is in reality. Instead of 4 centimeters, we actually have each centimeter is 3 meters, so I'm going to times it by 3. And that tells me that this here is 12 meters in length, okay? Because each centimeter is 3, so 3, 6, 9 and 12. Again, in this direction, I have 7 lots of 3. 7 lots of 3 is 21 centimeters. If unsure, just get your calculator out and do 4 times 3 just to check that it is 12, and 7 times 3 just to check it is 21, okay? So now we can find the area of the section. And the area of the section is going to be 12 times 21. Oh, I made a mistake. I just noticed I put centimeters in there. It should be meters. Good. Okay. So let's do 21 times 12. And we get 252 meters squared is the area of this whole section for tents. Each tent is 8 meters squared, so we want to find out how many of those fit in. So to do that is a division. So we have 252 divided by 8. So divide by 8, we get an answer of 31.5. So that's how many tents we can get in. Now remember, tents are whole things. You can't have part of a tent. So in this case, we can only get 31 tents fitting in. Okay. So why 4 marks? Well, first of all, you have to change here into meters. Then you have to calculate your area. Then you have to calculate how many you can actually fit in. And because it's a decimal, you need to reason out how many you can actually do, in which case it came out to 31 tenths. That was part A. Let's move on to part B. And part B looks to be, it's about the cost of staying for 7 nights. So the first 7 nights, the price of the stay of the campsite is £24 per night. After 7 nights, the price is reduced by a fifth. A camper stays for 11 nights. He pays Robert £250. How much change does he get? So we need to find out basically how much it will cost in total. So if he's staying for 11 nights, he's going to be paying 7 nights at the full amount. Yeah, and the full amount is £24. But if we have 11 nights, I'm going to take that 7 nights away, and 11 take away 7 will give you 4. 11 take away 7 gives us 4. Okay, so there are 4 nights at the reduced price. But I don't know the reduced price. I'm going to have to work it out. So I'm just going to put that in there for completeness. So I'm going to work out the reduced price, and the reduced price is a fifth of 24. Okay, so a fifth of 24 is £4.80. That's how much money is off. So what he'll actually pay is going to be £24 minus the £4.80. So let's just do that one in there. £24 minus the £4.80 is the reduced price. Now obviously it's a calculator one, so let's put in a calculator. Minus £4.80. We end up that he pays £19.02 per night on the reduced price. Okay, £19.20. Sorry, I misread that. £19.20. Okay. So we know there's 7 at the full price, 4 nights at the £19.20. So let's work those out. 7 times 24 is £168. And the 4 times £19.20 comes out to £76.80. And we want to know what it is altogether, so let's add those two together, and we're going to get £76.80 plus 168 to end up with £244 £5 with 80p. That's how much money it cost for the stay. We want to find out how much change. That's what they're wanting. How much change do they get? So the final step is 250, take away 244.80. Let's do that in the calculator. 250 minus 244.80, and we end up with £5.20 coming out. £5.20. Just be careful, remember that's 20, yeah, £5.20, because we're talking about money. So £5.20p. Make sure that dot's nice and clear. Brilliant. We're getting through these quite nice and fast, aren't we? 11b. So let's move on to 11c. 11c is campers can leave a score out of 10 for the campsite on the review. Each week the campsite puts the average score on the website. Last week the average score was 8.4, and we want to find out, it says here are the scores for this week. Has the average score increased from last week? So to do that, we're going to have to calculate the average. Now, if you remember the average, in this case, we're going to work out the mean. And the mean is the total divided by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 reviews. So we're going to have to work out the total. And total for that is just adding all these together. Yeah, we're just going to add all these numbers together. So we're going to add these all together to get a total. Okay, so just be very careful in entering them. 8 plus 7 plus 9 plus 8 plus 10. Yep. And the nice thing with on the calculator, you can actually check that they're not incorrect. And then next one, plus 8 plus 6 plus 10 plus another 10 plus another 10 plus a 7 plus an 8 plus a 9 plus another 9 plus a 10. So once we've done all that, it comes out to a total of 129. Okay. Remember, never go outside the lines on this point. So here, working out my mean, the total is 129 divided by 15. When we do that, 129 divided by 15 gives me an answer of 8.6. And so the question is, if we compare this week, 8.6, with last week of 8.4, it says, has the average score increased from last week? And we can say, yes, it has, because 8.6 is larger than 8.4. Excellent, 3 marks. And if you notice, that is the end of the questions. So that's brilliant. We have finished